Well, we tend to publish books where the idea has, it's like God's put an idea on someone's heart and they've just been really faithful to follow through with it, just to write the story as best they can. And then what we like to do is just come alongside people and help them cross the finish line. So when Lisa came to us, that was a perfect fit. And I just really love that she's speaking to a whole audience out there that, where there's obviously a big gap in the market for people to combine, the practical advice in terms of raising children with special needs, but also her own spiritual journey and her own personal journey and their families' dynamics in the middle of it all. Yeah, it's been good.
So when you read Lisa's story, what were your first impressions?
Well, my first impressions were that as a family, they've walked a really tough road. That really, there was no preparation for. I think one of the things that struck me is that, these, let's say a diagnosis like this doesn't always just come in the middle of a nice sorted life. There's always background dynamics, and then you have this all on top of it, and it's so easy to be overwhelmed. And so for me, it was just a case of watching, the story unfold from a place of, kind of shock and overwhelm and kind of denial, to then just leaning into it, and navigating it really, really well to a place of health for everybody, and obviously for Justin as well. Incredible how far he's come and what a great life he's had.
What do you think is special about this book? What's unique about it?
Well, I think there's a level of insight into just the practical day-to-day, how to work with ridiculous amounts of appointments, and how to juggle an already huge life. I think that will resonate with a lot of people, but then to also take the time out to learn to nurture yourself and to pursue wholeness and healing for yourself. And we have a saying here: everybody wins. What does it look like if everybody wins? And I know for Lisa, it's not the end of her story, and she hasn't claimed that this is a great big mountaintop experience, but at the same time you do get the sense that as the story unfolds, for this family, they're coming to a place where you go, oh wow, everybody's made the most of it at least, and there's a chance that as things go on, you just go, wow, everybody won against all odds.
Do you think there's a broader message in this book for churches, for friends, for schools, and what might that message be?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I think we always come at things from our own perspective. I think Lisa draws us to look at it at special needs from their family's perspective, and definitely lessons for church leadership, and just to be able to, even if you can't change everything on the ground all the way right at once, just to be able to come alongside and feel what people feel and understand, see what people see, get into somebody else's boots. I think it's healthy for us all. So yeah, definitely. She even talks about things like, the decision of whether to put Justin to enroll him in a special kind of special needs classroom or into mainstream school, and just the deliberations around that. And I think, for a teacher, you can feel the tension. For the other parents and students, you can feel the tension. And from her own point of view, you can just, you realize none of this is easy. Everyone's trying to make the best decisions they can with what they've got at the time. I think they did really well.
And finally, what are your hopes for this book?
Well, as for all of our books, my hope, and we actually really believe with our authors, that their books will go far and wide, far beyond their own expectations. I am hoping that it will go into special needs communities and groups, that organisations will pick it up and run with it and just go, actually, your child's just been diagnosed, we want to recommend this resource. This is a mother speaking, not just another healthcare professional. So I'm really hoping that we'll go into all sorts of agencies and organisations as a resource. And my hope is also that it will go far beyond Lisa's natural network and get out to other countries of the world. And I think one of the things that she talked a lot about was just the help that she got from other people, and that they as a family got. And I mean, one of the other big takeaways is, none of us can do life alone, whatever we get thrown. I think the temptation for them was often to isolate. I can understand it would have been the easiest thing in the world. And I'm sure they had to really, dig deep to not go down that pathway. But it seems to me that they've really valued the people in their lives. They've appreciated the people that are there to help Justin, come along as support workers, but also just friends, family, church leaders, community leaders. I think, the theme of her book is people who care a whole awful lot about special needs families. So you just really want to honour their family, really, for the journey they've walked, and honour all the people in their life who have helped them along the way, and then encourage Lisa to publish this book. I think it's a win for everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, Anya. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Hope you've got something there to work with. And,
yes, I have. Thank you. You have a great day.
Wellington, we like to do coffee, so look us up.
All righty. Okay. Thank you. I do have a ticket booked there. I was supposed to go to New Zealand around about the start of the pandemic. So I've got a rain check from Air New Zealand. I'm going to call on that at some stage, maybe next year.
Who knows? I've got the same thing. I've got a ticket to Canberra that's been sitting there for 2 years.